What's up, everybody? Oh, got an itch right behind my ear right then. What's up, everybody? Drew, aka Catching Rockets here. I hope y'all had a good day today. I personally did not trade. Um, I did add some long-term positions. They were called out by short. Well, yeah, actually, they were both. Well, I don't know. Essentially, both were called out by Shorty today, but one I was already looking at myself, which I kind of called out before Shorty. Um, or not kind of. I called it out before Shorty. It doesn't matter, I guess. It's irrelevant. But I did a stock scan the other day just for people in Shorty's Discord. We didn't really see anything that I wanted to buy that day, but it was like on the first sell off here. So Tuesday, yeah, I did a stock scan. I was looking to dip buy some shares. Nothing really caught my attention. I mean, there was a couple of things that I wanted them to bounce basically and give a retest of a key area to get in. But there was nothing that I wanted to buy that day. And one of the stocks that really interested me was Nike. I wanted it to bounce out of a key area and then retest a key area to buy shares. And it did that today. So Shorty called that out as a buy today, or last night he called it out. So that was the one I was already watching. I bought shares of Nike today. I think I bought 50 shares. And then another one that Shorty has been talking about, I want to say for a good month, maybe like 2 months now, is Circle, CRCL. And so we bought shares of that today. So that's what's up. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit worried that people might have got faded today. I would understand. This zone that we had drawn was actually, I thought it was buyers when I drew it, but it wasn't. They sold off from there. They retested it like on futures and dumped from there. But we said we were looking for calls here, and if you bought calls in this zone, you should have been, stopped out, and your feelings hurt. I looked over everything. The only trade that I saw that I liked, and hopefully people took this, is when this happened, when we dropped through the single prints and retested it. This was a good area to get in puts, and so hopefully people got in there. You were red for a minute, but then sold off pretty good. All right, let me start erasing stuff. I should add, I have an order for calls or for long on ES at 51. I don't remember my exact profit target, but I think it's 62. But yeah, just looking to get 10 points, basically. Yeah, I saw you post that last night, Erez. Unfortunately, we had talked about this. Where was it? Was it here? No, it's here, right? No. I wish I remembered where that level was. It was here. No. I don't fucking remember. Oh, it must have been like right around here, right? Right through here somewhere. And well, it doesn't matter where the level was, but I remember saying like we never got like a good clean 30-minute candle above. And that if you tried to long off of it, it was probably a little bit on the riskier side. And yeah, they they started to look like they wanted to go long, and then they reversed and sold off. I'm kind of surprised we didn't tap 51. I was really expecting that. They came close, I guess, but no dice. And then just all selling. I'm actually kind of surprised about today. Um, yeah, Aries, you got to get rid of that mindset. I kind of, I saw you talking in Discord yesterday. I'm sure this will ring a bell. Like, oh, I should just inverse myself and YOLO and whatever. Do the opposite of what I'm thinking. I don't remember your exact verbiage. um, you're probably on the verge of breaking through. Um, what's coming up for me around you is like desperation, where you feel this need to always be in a trade, and you've just got to take a step back. You don't always have to be in a trade. You don't always have to trade. I can't show my account right now. I'm laughing because it's ridiculous, but exactly, yeah. Cuban Kramer inverse me, yeah. Um, and even if we say that stuff jokingly, what you put out into the universe, um, kind of comes back. So you want to put out positive vibes and put out positivity. It might sound stupid, but it really works. Um, and again, I think for you, um, and I could be wrong. I don't know you like on a super personal level, but from what I'm seeing and from what I know about trading, it really seems like you're on the point of like breaking through to the other side. You just need that little extra push. And I think part of that little extra push is not feeling this desperation to trade. Not feeling like you need to be trading when you're at work, not feeling like you need to be in a trade in the overnight session, not feeling like you always have to be in a trade, right? That might kind of sound stupid as a trader, but you really just have to take a step back and slow down and wait for the good setups, wait for the setups to come to you, not feel this urgency to be in a trade. For perspective, I have an order sitting. I already said this right here. I might have missed, like, they might bounce it right from here, September value area high, and just go higher and never fill me. My order is sitting there, and I could honestly give two shits. Like, if they don't fill me, that's fine. I'll find another setup I like. If they do fill me, that's fine. If they stop me out, that's fine. If they hit my take profit, that's fine. I'm not watching the trade. Like, I can really quickly show you guys like all of my I think I can show you all of my screens. So like, here's my Discord, right? This is the screen that you guys see, and then this is the screen with like all the background stuff, right? I do not have my trading software even open. Because it's not important to me. Like, or not important to me, but like the end result is unimportant to me. If I get filled is unimportant to me. I don't have this desperate need to be in a trade. And if they miss the fill that I was looking for, so be it. I get it. I understand that, Erez, but as long as you're trading from a perspective of times aren't good and I really need to make money, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. You're going to lose money. You're going to have the inverse effect that you're trying to achieve. You need to be trading from a place like, I don't know what other words to use, but where you're calm, you don't have any sense of urgency, you don't have this like whatever it is, like let's just say my dog's sick and I need $6,000 for the vet and I don't have $6,000. And so I'm going to go try to turn $500 into $6,000 really quickly so I can afford to pay the vet to save my dog. Like, you can't trade from that perspective. You're just never going to make it. You're adding pressure to something that's already difficult enough. And you need to look at the market and you need to approach the market with a sense of calmness and um like just not having this sense of urgency. Like you just need to have kind of just like a clear level head, and not worried about outcomes or like what's coming up, like taxes you mentioned. Um, a really, really wise, I mean, this was way before I was even a trader. A really, really wise older man. Um, One time, I wish I could like quote him, but I'll do my best to repeat what he said to me. Um, I was young. I was a single father, single custodial father. I don't know how many of you know that, but like I had my first child when I was, I think, 19. Might have been 18. I don't remember exactly, but pretty sure it was 19. Um, got married young. Um, like 4 years into my marriage, my wife started like drinking really heavily and doing drugs. And it was affecting my career. We had two small children, and she would be out like drinking and partying all night. I would wake up in the morning to go to work, and she wouldn't be home, and I couldn't leave the kids home alone. So that's how it was affecting my career. Um, and for a while, I was trying to get her help, and I'm not trying to make this like the woe is me pity party for Drew. Um, but just kind of explaining where I was at when this happened. But obviously, times were very rough. I was young. I was a fireman. Um, like I was just kind of starting my career. Didn't have a bunch of savings. Didn't have a lot of money. Living paycheck to paycheck. And anyway, for I want to say for a good like 6 months, I was trying to get her help, trying to get her to go to rehab, whatever, help herself. And the the sorry, I'm struggling with this because I don't like to talk about it, but I mean it is what it is. And then I found out that she was like hooking up with my best friend as well. So at that point I was like, I'm done. um and I shouldn't say my best friend. I thought he was my best friend. Apparently not a friend at all. So anyway, the two of them were like partying really hard, doing a bunch of Colombian nose candy, drinking a lot, getting into crazy stuff. And so I left her, took custody of the kids, or I was fighting for custody of the kids. And then I was granted like temporary custody from the judge. And long story short, I don't want to make this longer than it is, but I want to kind of like emphasize really, really how hard times were. Um, my ex reported me to Child Protective Services and just made up a bunch of BS about me, that I was a druggie and alcoholic, that I was watching pornography in front of the kids, like just all this craziness. Um, anyway, no questions asked. Like they didn't even like start investigating me just based on the accusations. They just took the kids, and I was beside myself. Like my kids were my life, and fortunately, um, I thought of something pretty intelligent, pretty smart, I guess. My my good family friend was a foster parent. And so I asked Child Protective Services if my kids could be placed with her or with her family. And they said, oh, we would love to put kids with people that they know. That's better for the kids as long as that person's willing to take them. So I immediately call my friend and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, yeah, absolutely, no questions. So that ended up being really good in the sense that my children were placed with her. We went in front of the judge. Normally when your kids are with Child Protective Services, they let you see them like 1 hour a week at the most. The judge was asking, it was like a room. I don't remember exactly who was in there, but I know me and my family friend were in the room with the judge. And the judge asked her like how she wanted to handle visitation, because normally it would be like, at a locked facility, like CPS or whatever, for 1 hour once a week or whatever. And my friend said, oh, he can just come over to my house. And the judge is like, "Are you sure?" And she goes, "Yeah, I've known Drew forever. He's a good man. He's not, I have no concerns. Everything will be fine." And the judge goes, "Okay, fine. Yeah, that's fine." And so basically, they just left visitation. Like I could go there whenever I wanted. And this person was also a family friend of my ex-wife. And so she had the same visitation that I did. The difference was, and this is probably one of the main reasons that I got full sole legal custody of my kids, is every single day I would wake up, get ready, go over to my friend's house, get my kids up. Basically, I treated her kitchen like it was my own. I would go over there, cook them food, make them breakfast, whatever, get them dressed, get their teeth brushed, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then, normally I would drop them off with like at their daycare and I would go to work. But since they were in child protective services, they would just stay there with my friend. I would go to work. As soon as I got off work, I went back to her house and whatever. I would give my kids a bath, read them books, whatever, blah, 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 get them ready for bed, put them to sleep. And I would come back the next morning and do the same thing all over again. And I guess during like I want to say it was like 6 weeks that my children were with her. My ex-wife only visited like 2 or 3 times or something like that. And so when my family friend like conveyed that to the judge, he just basically immediately gave me temporary full legal custody. Anyway, long story short, really, really hard times, obviously. I'm a single custodial father. I have a 6-month-old baby, on my own. And then on top of that, I broke my back right around that same time. So I was crawling around my house, making my kids food, making bottles, for the baby, whatever. Like I couldn't stand up and walk. And at one point, I'll never forget this. And if I get emotional, I apologize, but it obviously was very difficult. But at one point, Child Protective Services came over to my house and they were, just making sure the kids are safe and whatever. And one of the ladies went into the kitchen and like the sink was full of dishes. And she made some comment of, to the effect of like, blah, 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 your kitchen's messy, da, 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 da. And I was like, I literally cussed her out. I was like, "Bitch, you need to get the fuck out of my house." I'm like, "Are you stupid? Do you see me? I have to crawl on my hands and knees to go and make bottles for my baby, to cook for my kids. I'm doing the best that I can here. And if that's not good enough for you, I don't give a fuck. You can go fuck yourself." Like I literally, and I've done this many times in my life. Like I've cussed out, during during the whole proceedings for all of this, when I was going through the custody battle, I had to hire I think it's a guardian ad litem, they're called, and a clinical, or what's it called? Some kind of psychologist. I forget what it's called, but where their focus is to like look at everything from like outside. And that guy was like, everything that my kids were saying about my ex, like all the negative stuff my kids were saying about my ex, he was relaying it to my ex. And then my ex was like abusing them and stuff. And so I cussed that fool out too. And he was really the main deciding factor on who got custody of my kids. Anyway, long story short, as I was going through all of that, living off of my savings, stressing out about money, stressing out about where I'm going to, like where the next meal's coming from. And I should add, like, I wasn't getting any help from any of my family at this time. And this older man, he told me, like, like kind of, I don't remember how the conversation even came up, but he was basically like, "What are you so stressed out about?" And I was like, "Oh, da 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 da," and I have all these bills and collections and whatever and blah, 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 blah. And he just told me very calmly, he was like, "Don't worry about it. Like, they can't take money from a rock. Like, they can't squeeze blood out of a rock. If you have nothing left, there's nothing for them to take, right? So just do your best. Don't stress about the bills, whatever else, focus on day to day. And like you'll get through it and you'll get to the point where you'll be able to pay back that money or whatever. But for today, just focus on, making it to the next day. And actually, I read a really good quote today. And I don't even know that this is a true story, but it's regardless, message is really good. And it said, this old man approached a young man, and he was like, "Hey, like, um, would you be happy if I gave you $10 million today?" And the kid's like, "Of course I would be happy if you gave me $10 million." And he goes, "What if I gave you $10 million today, and the as a consequence of receiving that $10 million, you don't wake up tomorrow?" And the kid goes, "Well, no, of course, like waking up tomorrow is way more important than $10 million." And then the old man said, "See, so tomorrow when you wake up, make sure you wake up with a smile, because nothing is more valuable than life, and money is not more valuable than life." I hope this is landing with you, Ares. Kind of like we're off topic and a little wild, but um, life is way more important than money, right? All of us are going to go through hard times in our life. Some of us go through harder times in life. Obviously, I know what you're going through, but it'll get better. But it's not going to get better by focusing on what's going wrong and trying to urgently make money to change that situation, right? You've got to take a step back, not have that in your mind when you're trading. You need to trade from a place of neutrality where you're not worried about the outcome. Okay? Um, you have your health, you have your life. Wake up every day with a smile. Grind hard, but don't grind from the perspective of urgency and like, I've got to like force this to work, because it won't work if you're trying to force it. Okay? Anyway, thank you all for listening to my BS story. I mean, it's not BS, it's real, but thank you for listening to my crappy life story. Um, and just, I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but my first wife actually passed away from addiction. And it was weird because when she passed away, we had been separated, I want to say, or divorced for like a good 13 years. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And fortunately, like the girl I was dating at the time was very understanding. And she understood why it was so emotionally difficult for me. It was weird to experience those emotions over somebody that you haven't been with for like, almost 15 years. Um, but anyway, I hope things are better for her now. A lot of people tried to help her. um, all right, let's get into charting. And I apologize if people are just here for the charts, you're not interested in any of what I just said. And that doesn't bother me. I get it. But the message and the story that was just told is hopefully very valuable and very important for some people. And I hope that it helps those people approach trading from a place of neutrality, and where we're not stressing over things like money, because that will never end well. I promise you. I actually tried it. Kind of the initial story I told. Hey, what's up, David? When I was talking about like needing $6,000 for your vet bill or whatever, that kind of happened to me where, sorry, I'm gonna turn on my fan really quick here. It's hot. Um, my dog was really sick, and the vet was quoting, I don't even remember how much, but I tried to like YOLO my entire port the very next day to try to make enough money to pay the vet, and of course I ended up just losing all of it instead. Um, so I've been there. That's when I was a much younger and much dumber trader, and I would never try to do that again, because it just, I mean, it might work every once in a blue moon, but more often than not, it's not going to work out. Um, all right, so let's get into charting up our levels. I also need to figure out what is going on with me. I just cannot wake up in the morning anymore. Um, Last night I went to sleep at like 10:30, 11 my time, and I woke up this morning. Um, the market opens at 6:30 my time. I woke up at 6 and I was just still exhausted. And I considered getting up and trading, but I just really wasn't feeling great and I was really tired. And so I ended up going back to sleep, or I was like watching YouTube in bed. And as I was watching YouTube in bed, I ended up dozing off. And I have to go to work tonight. So whenever I have work, I always like, try to take like a good 2 to 4 hour nap. Um, I fell back asleep. I woke up at like 10, made sure that, my wife had fed my dogs, but I made sure that the dogs were fed. And then I went back to bed and I slept till like 2. So I literally slept, I don't even know, um, from like 10:30, 11 last night till 2 o'clock this afternoon. Um, Let me see. Let's pull up cluster charts, see what we got going on. Actually, really quickly, let me zoom out. I'm kind of surprised that we're doing this. So right now we're below this midpoint. Obviously, we're not 100% of the time going to make the full measured move um, from consolidation. So there's a chance, we come back and retest this and even go down to the bottom. Shorty's asking, or not asking, he keeps saying he wants to see 650 on SPY. And he was saying as long as we're under 675, I think that it's doable. And I understand why. I think he's kind of just rounding up. Realistically, the number to be under is 673.95. But yeah, they could send this all the way down. I hope they don't. My long-term portfolios have been getting beaten up the last few days, and it's not fun to look at. I'm not used to this anymore. Like normally we just only see green. Um, so yeah, this is not fun. I'm tired of dip buying at this point. um, let's see where we're at on fear and greed. Bro, I don't know why that keeps, there's something that keeps popping up on my screen that you guys can't see, and it's literally like driving me nuts. I don't understand why it keeps popping up. We should be in neutral. Wow. Extreme fear. This is when you buy. Um, I think the last time we looked at this when it was like extreme fear, and I could be wrong, was like here somewhere. Um, so this is generally where you start buying stuff. Um, oh, that's a bummer, Pepino. Um, all right, let's take a look at futures. This is our open, so we're slightly green so far. I'm saying slightly green. We're up almost 20 points, which is pretty good. Um, so it looks like they're trying to bounce this. Or we're still below this 74, which I think is pretty important to regain if we want to see upside. I think that 74 is going to be a pretty key SR flip on higher time frames. Here comes a pretty nice green candle. Let me load up my cluster charts so we can see. Hopefully people have been making use of the cluster charts, and hopefully it's been helpful for you guys. Um, it's been a little bit of a headache over here, um, getting it going. I think I figured out what was causing the black screens for anybody that's been watching. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Sorry, my dog just had a conniption. I think you guys can see behind me. This is a window, obviously. And on this window, we have like a bench. I'm sure you guys can see this as well. Sorry. There's bookshelves here. And then I think you can see it. And then under the window, there's like a bench that goes all the way across to another set of bookshelves on the other wall. And my dog sits on that freaking bench and looks out the window and waits for anything that moves to walk by. And then he freaks out and runs all the way downstairs, goes flying through the dog door like he's Superman, and runs around the backyard barking. And every time he does it, he makes a bunch of noise, like barking and being crazy. Um, so I think based on where price is trading right now, I might switch my order to short. Right through here. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I was trying to get in long down at 51. This 18,000 order right here, but they never filled me. So now, wow, it would be really nice if that would cooperate. Maybe if I zoom in. Good job. Yeah, I think I'm going to put an order short at 77. So these are the main areas I'm interested in right now. $77 to $78. Dude, this shit popped up again. This is what keeps popping up on my screen. Um, Now I just need to make sure I have those levels right, because, okay, yeah, 77 to 78. That pop-up is really annoying me. I also kind of wouldn't be terribly surprised if they come just shy of this, with the October POC being here. Obviously, sometimes we'll slice through and then fall back below, but there's always a chance they come to here and then reject. Um, so I'm going to keep this in mind for moving my order there based on what they do. This is a pretty indecisive candle right now. So if we start approaching, 74 or whatever, I'll probably move my order to short here versus being long at 51. But we'll see. And then my other level is 49 to 51. Oh, I feel like at the beginning I was saying I wish I could show you guys my account and that I couldn't, and I never said why I couldn't show you my account, which probably sounds really weird because I never have an issue with showing my account. Um, the reason I can't show you and the reason I laughed is because of sheer laziness. Normally I journal my account and I just show you guys my journal. I haven't journaled my last three trades. So, and it's like, I think two of the trades were last week and one was last night. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Or no, one was Tuesday night. Um, and so the reason I was laughing is it's pretty pathetic that I haven't journaled in like a week and a half or something like that. Copy that. Bottom of the 1 o'clock candle. Oh. Yeah, this will be great if they give this to us during the day. Um, October value area high. Basically, we fell inside of this, right? This was our retest, and from there we sold off. Um, wouldn't be terribly surprised if we sell from there again. I'm not really a fan of a retest, but we also have a high volume node there. So um, it might be worth taking it again. Whoa. This I'm less interested in. I'm going to leave this on the chart um, just in case. But really for SPY, I would like to see them lose previous day value area low, clean up this poor low, come back inside, retest, and go long or get calls, right? This one here, I want to see basically a strong rejection off of there. Okay. Makes sense to everybody. It looks like we want lower, um, but we'll have to kind of see what happens tomorrow. For right now, um, we have single prints at the top, right? Which, if we get back up here, generally a strong area where we'll see a rejection. Um, we have poor lows at the bottom, and also from back in October. Um, Actually, I'm going to delete this, but it's still there. They need to clean both of those up. We're inside of October value area. Ideally, they're looking to come down here until they prove that they're not happy being inside of October's value area. Um, we would have to break out, get a strong bounce, and clean up these single prints, get back up, and then we can confidently say that they don't like being inside of October's value area. But for now, looks like we're going to get 80% to here. Okay. And this would be your entry for swinging puts. I mean, obviously, we're past that, but that was your entry. If they give you a retest, you could ultimately try swinging puts. But I don't really like the retest of a retest, but it wouldn't be a terrible idea. Just in case, I highly doubt this will happen, but I hate to say I highly doubt it and then I don't chart it and it happens. But we definitely want to be in puts here. Let me screenshot this. Please zoom out. Gonna go and post that. If you guys have questions, now would be the time. Oops. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Zneed, I think that's right. There was no audio. So I don't even understand why this shit happens, but it's so frustrating. And I wish it happened more often versus not happening. Randomly, and I'm sure like you guys deal with this on Discord if you're using a Windows computer. Oh, see, it's done it again. Oh, I think I know why it's doing it now. Oh, this is going to be frustrating. So I think what's happening is I'm running two instances of Streamlabs. One is on a computer that does not have a microphone, does not have a headset. And I think when I do that, it's switching the audio to default because I don't have a microphone or a headset connected to that computer, which is then in turn causing, when I try to go live for Shorty, it has my audio settings set to default, and then Shorty's audio doesn't get picked up. The issue was last night, normally, like if I'm home, I can fix it really quick. When I notice that it's happening or when everybody tells me there's no audio. But last night, I had to drive to the airport to pick up a suitcase with my wife. Like basically, our family friend went to China. My wife's brother packed up like a bunch of stuff for my wife in a suitcase, and her friend brought it over from China for us. And so we had to go to the airport and pick it up. And as I'm at the airport, or like we met in like a Carl's Jr. parking lot, but as we're there, people are telling me that the 24-hour footprint chart, cluster chart stream had a black screen. So I'm like hustling remotely trying to fix that. I get it fixed. And then I was telling my wife, I was like, watch, right at 6 o'clock when I have to go live for Shorty stream, your friends are going to pull up, and I'm going to be torn between like, I have to start the live and, wanting to go over and be respectful and polite and say hi to them and whatever. I haven't seen them in a while. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And so they pulled up like 5 minutes before I was supposed to start the stream. So I just said hi really quick, grabbed the suitcase, threw it in the trunk, got back in my car, remoted into my PC, waited a couple of minutes. Shorty went live. I started the stream and I closed everything down so I could go back over, and talk with them or whatever else. And so I missed that people were saying that there was no audio. So I wasn't able to fix it because I didn't know that there was no audio. But now I know, since I'm running both computers, this is going to default back to default, and I need to switch it for every single video that I do, which is going to be a little bit frustrating. So I don't know, maybe there's a workaround for that. I'll look into it, but that's not going to be fun. All right. How do you access the cluster charts? They're just live. You just go to the live stream. This is the link for it. I'm not going to be posting it every day. You would just go to my channel and look at whatever the live is. It'll be live 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. All right. Yeah. I don't see any questions. All right. Hopefully the message landed. Don't trade from a place of like needing to make money. Don't trade from a place of desperation. I mean, obviously we're all here trying to make money, but if you're desperate about it and trying to force things, it's just never going to work out. It just will not work. There might be like 1% of people that get lucky and are the outliers. But for the average person, if you're trying to force it and like trading from a place of desperation, it's not going to end well. Take a step back mentally, make sure your head is clear. Don't feel like you always need to be in a trade. Just don't make it like this crazy stressful thing where like you feel this like immense need to be on, right at the New York market open and then right at the futures market open. Ideally, like you want to be on for the New York Open because that's when you get the most volatility, but it shouldn't be like this, I have to. It should be more of a, I can, right? And Red nucleus. Okay, a lot of questions about futures and cluster charts. So the cluster charts are live on my channel, 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. Futures closes for 1 hour every day, from 5 p.m. Eastern, and then reopens at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then when they close Friday night, I forget what time they close Friday. Oh, same thing. They close at 5 p.m. Eastern. They don't reopen until Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So there's like 1 day out of the week where they're not live, or where futures are closed. And basically, my live stream should be up whenever futures are open. It's up right now. I just posted the link. I'm not going to daily post that this is up. If you're interested in watching, the cluster charts and the footprint charts, then and you don't have access to them, then just go and find the live stream. Use the YouTube search, find my channel, and then you should see the live stream. It's going to be there every day. But yeah, I'm not going to be posting it daily like I do with my like these videos that I'm doing right now. These videos happen at different times, and so that's why I always say, like, I'm going live now, whatever. That way people that want to join live and ask questions have that ability. As far as Tina's question, explaining futures, I'll just give you a video, because it's way too much to explain in the amount of time that I have right now. So let me go and find a video for you. People like to overcomplicate futures, and basically they're pretty much options, just way easier. They don't have theta. There's no Greeks. So with that, it's basically options, except the price is set. Like, the price doesn't vary. Hopefully that makes sense. This is a video for you, Tina, or whoever else is interested on how to trade futures, what they are. So Red, if you go to the the cluster chart video, at the very top there's a video pinned that explains how to use them. Okay. Yeah, no worries. So this is one of the things, I'm pretty sure I explained it in that video that I linked, but I'll just explain it really quickly. Like, if I ask anybody in this chat, right, like, if price is here on SPY, we'll say 670, 50 cents, and you're wanting to buy a call option for 672, what's the price of that option going to be at 670 and 50 cents? Can anybody give me the answer? And the answer to that question is no, nobody can give me that answer, because options are affected by like so many things, right? With the Greeks, that it's really hard to like pinpoint an exact value at a level on the chart. Where when, as traders, like, ideally you want to get in at a key level and you want to close at a key level, right? You don't want to just be like, oh, I'm up $100 on this option contract, let me close it here. You should be trading from key level to key level, or key level to key level. With futures, if price comes to here, the contract price will be 67.50 and 50 cents. And if it comes up here, it will be 677, 67.77 and a quarter. And the price is always going to be the price. So if I want to enter a trade here and I want to close here, all I have to do is put in my orders, and I can actually show you guys that right now because I have orders on my chart. This is limit 5 at 67.51 and 50 cents. My take profit would be 67.62, and my stop loss would be 67.45 and 75 cents. So all of those levels can be found, on the chart just by looking at the chart, and they don't change. So that's what's great about futures. You can say, I want to get in here. If price comes down to here, I want to be stopped out. And if price comes to here, I want to take profit. And actually right now, I don't love that order that I have. Tokyo session just opened, and they're probably going to push it up to here where I want to be in short. So I'm going to change my orders. But the reason that I had like a take profit at, what is it? 62 was based on the range when I put in the order. Like we were trading right around here. And so I figured that was good enough. But yeah, I'm going to put a short order. I'm not sure. Probably it's 76. My stop loss will be above this. Yeah. 10 points, looking for 20 basically. Actually, I'm going to do that really quickly. I can do it live with you guys here. Oops, I don't want that many. 76. And then, sorry, this is going to be, so this is a, I don't know, it could be like a crowded high or a strong high. I wouldn't expect them to come even to 84.50. We should reject like right around here. So, if they break above this, my trade is pretty much invalidated. So kind of a wide stop loss, but you could even, put it lower depending on your risk tolerance. They shouldn't break over 81 with this strong high here. We also just shouldn't break over this sell side HVN. And then am I able to just target here? Yes. I'm still getting 2 for 1. You could target this zone below, but I'm not going to try to be greedy. I'll take a bounce here, or a short here, bounce there, and then keep going higher. Looking pretty strong right now. So take profit, 58.25. I might do 58.50. Yeah. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen because I moved it up for you guys to see it. So 58.25 for my take profit. Oh no, I said 58.50, right? So I'm looking for 70 ticks. My stop loss, I don't remember exactly where it was. 85.75. So there we have it. Is that right? Okay, cool. And so now my orders are in. I'm going to shut down my software. If they fill me, great. If they stop me out, great. If they hit my take profit, great. If they don't fill me, great. I don't really care. But so yeah, that's what I'm looking at in the overnight session. I will say for eras, like, this is not the largest high volume node in the world. So I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they crush through this and keep going higher. So just because I'm looking at this trade doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be amazing. Um, so just keep that in mind. This is not like a massive high volume node. Like down here is a lot nicer. Okay, just a little FYI. But I'm still content with my risk. I'm happy. Um, this is looking super bullish. We're in an uptrend on lower time frames, making higher highs, higher lows, right, as we're going up. But they could reject here and go lower, and I'll take the money if they do. Um, so with that said, let me close down this. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Red Nucleus. Triple G, everybody's different, right? So some people have more success trading the overnight session. Some people have more success trading during regular trading hours. Um, I feel like, I don't know, this is kind of weird. Like my win rate is higher during the over or during regular trading hours. Um, but I feel like I take more trades in the overnight session. So I feel like I'm more successful in the overnight session. And the reason that I think I feel more successful in the overnight session is things are so chill and like price is just like, oh, whatever, do. And I'm still human, right? And so once I set these orders and I shut down my computer and I go to work or go to bed or whatever, I'm not waking up in the middle of the night like, oh, am I green? And then like thinking about possibly moving orders because I still occasionally fall into the habit of moving orders when I shouldn't. Um, and then I always regret it. Like they always hit whatever level I was targeting and I exit early. I don't do it a lot, but I do it occasionally. But so when these things happen when I'm sleeping or like I'm at work, I don't have the ability to move my orders. Generally will hit my profit target, um, and so I feel like I'm more successful in the overnight session in the sense that I pretty much always respect my levels. Um, and again, I probably take more trades in the overnight session because I have longer to analyze, like where I want to enter, where I want to take profit, where I want to stop out. Whereas during the regular trading hours, like sometimes things move so quickly, you don't have as much time to plan things out. And like, um, I would say like not often, but occasionally, like I'll miss an entry because I don't have enough time to think about what's happening, if that makes sense. It doesn't happen too much, but occasionally I'll miss an entry and, just because price is moving so fast during regular trading hours. So again, I think I have a higher win rate during I know I have a higher win rate during regular trading hours. But a lot of times, like price will be moving so quickly, I'll miss an entry. Whereas overnight session, things pretty chill, and I can just put my orders, and if I get filled, cool. If I don't, cool. Um, and so I just feel like more successful in the overnight session, even though realistically, win rate is higher during New York session, if that makes sense. So anyway, with all of that said, I'm going to go get ready for work. As always, much love, much respect, everybody. For people asking, about whatever futures, cluster charts, all of that stuff, I've given you guys resources, but if you have more questions after you utilize those resources, like you watch the videos, whatever else, my DMs are always open. Just reach out. Or hop into another live session, ask your questions, whatever it is, DM me, at me, in Discord, or hit me up in one of the live sessions, and we will try to get your questions answered. All right. I feel like we need to do another day where we do like a candle by candle on Tesla. That was fun. um, and not from a place of ego, but from a place of like, if you pay attention to those 30-minute charts and you watch where you have your strong highs, strong lows, poor highs, poor lows, and you incorporate that information into your trading, it's pretty effective. All right. As always, much love, much respect, everybody. Peace out. We will see you tomorrow.